Alright, guys. I realized yesterday when I was doing the rope basket, you couldn't really tell what I was doing, so I found some old yellow paracord I got, so I can hopefully do it a little better. And I've got what I want to start with is 8 strands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll end up cutting these off somewhere up in here. And this is just old paracord, ain't much count, but I've got them doubled over. See, some of the ends haven't been cut, so I just kind of went 1, 2, 3 till I got about the length I want. And down on the bottom side, and if I was gonna make something big, I mean, this would be longer. You make it, give yourself extra. This is for demonstration. So I'm gonna put just the overhand knot. I'm gonna take all of these, and I'm gonna make an overhand knot down here at the bottom. This will be the bottom. And like I say, I'll trim all this up and I'm gonna pull that down. This will be the biggest knot in the whole thing. And there's other ways to do this, but this is the simplest, I think. So just the overhand knot. Let me turn that radio down. Alright. So I ain't gonna get too complicated with it. So I'm just gonna cut that off. And then up here, I'm gonna cut my loops. And I ain't gonna get these perfect, but I'm gonna get these at least close. So I ain't working with a whole bunch of stuff. Just to try to help some of this fraying. Ain't gotta be perfect for what I'm showing you. I just know that bank line, it was hard to see what I was doing. I'm hoping I can give you a better little demonstration. So now, and this right here, getting started is probably the hardest part. Unless you got something you could stand it up in here, a jig or something, you could stand it up and do it, but I ain't made nothing like that, so. Let me make sure I'm in frame. Okay. Definitely not a videographer. Okay. So we're gonna spider these out. And kind of way like that. I try to get them where they're coming out of the knot. First one. See, these are short, so I ain't gonna be able to do a whole lot, but enough to show you, maybe. All right. So the first thing you want to do is get your first set of knots, and that'll be depending on what you plan on carrying. You can put anything in these. You can put a bucket in them, a basketball, a piece of gear. About anything that's round or oddly shaped, because it'll take form of it. But what you want is to make sure that the first holes, it can't fall through them. So, your first ones, you're gonna take two strands apiece. And we're gonna do a square knot. And this is why I wanted to show you with this rope, because I think that's what, and to keep yourself in it, try to get your rhythm. You'll notice when I come to this side, I'm going to treat this as the opposite. So we're going to go right, and you can even turn it like that. Right over left. And then you're going to take that and go underneath this one. Pull it down about where you want it. And I'm going to pull this one kind of low so I can do another knot. See, now that I went right over left and under, this time I'm gonna go left over right and then come under. And when I say under, I'm talking about wrapping it around that one you just did, so it looks like that. Let me make sure I'm in frame. Yeah, I think you can see that a lot better than that bank line. And then you just pull that down. Now if you pull this way, you're going to twist it. So you want to pull the same. You see how that's coming down? And then like that. And if you've got a good square knot, you should be able to pull that tight and it won't move. So that would be one. Now I want my next one to be about the same distance out. So we got that. And just like I say, I could spin this, but I get myself all messed up. So right over left and then under. Pull that down to about where you want it. Now we're gonna go left over right and then under. And we're gonna pull it down just like that. I wanna move that down so that these two loops are about the same. And they're not really. So we'll take that little loose. And as I was saying yesterday, you can kind of piddle with them and move this one out just a little. Till you get it where you want it. That's probably the worst fiddle factor part of this, is trying to get the loops about the same. So now we got two. So over here, I'm upside down. So I kind of want to look at this just to keep my pattern working the same and my mind working the same. I'm going to look at it like I'm standing over there on that side looking this way. So even though this is my right and this is my left, that's not how I'm going to do it this way. You can if you can keep up with that, but for me, to keep on going around, so what I'll be doing is right over left and under. Flip that, pull that down to about right there somewhere. Now we're going to go left over right and under. And we're going to pull that down. And I want that to go down just a little bit more. Still a little longer than the other ones, but once I tighten it down, maybe. And see how I can pull on that and it just gets tighter, it doesn't move down the knot. I'll show you what happens if you get that wrong. So we'll just do like this. If you forget, and you just tie a knot, and I just did that. I got my mindset, didn't even mess it up. See how that goes down? That's wrong. That's not a square knot. See that one knot, I went all the way down when I tried to tighten it up. Okay, so again, I'm looking at this upside down. So right over left and under, and pull that down. Left over right and under, and pull it down. And you can, like I say, you can adjust these to try to even them up. Pull it tight. So now what I've got, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a little, starting to look like a little flower, I guess, whatever. So you've got those. So now from each one of these little loops, you want to take the ones that are closest to each other off of each loop. And I just kind of, for my own thing, I just pull them out like that right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot about the same distance here. And like I say, the bigger whatever you're putting in it, the bigger these loops you want to make them, you know. So I mean, you can make them as long as it won't slip through it. You can pull them out here wherever. Just for demonstration purposes, and I don't have a lot of line. I'm just going to do them about the same. So right over left and under. Get that about where I want it, kind of. Okay, left over right and under. And see how that pulled that. So I have to adjust it a little. That side's going to be a lot shorter if I don't pull some of that back through. So, okay, so there's one. Notice how I'm pulling on this one here, maybe this one here, and getting that one up. Because what I'm trying to do is just keep these close as I can to the same. Let's see, I got enough. I can do one more. Oops. Let's see. Now what I'll do is now again, you've got these two tied together here, these here. So now what you want are these that are closest on these others. Okay, so and like I say, pull on them here and there, just to try to keep your, and as you get away from this, then you can start actually kind of spinning this thing, and you don't have to worry about getting yourself all messed up. So I'm looking at it, getting it pretty close. See, now I can, and then that's why I keep that right over left, left over right. That way I don't ever change that. Right over left and under. Pull it down about where I want it. Left over right and under. That one's gonna be kind of long, but you'll get it for demonstration purposes anyway. Yeah, that loop's a little big, but let's see, I've got one more. Right over left and under. Left over right and under. And once you get moving, you can knock one of these out. The first little part of it is the hardest part. And actually, this might be too big, or the rope ain't gonna be big enough. I was hoping I could put it on this ball so you can see what I'm talking about. I don't think I got nothing smaller than that. I didn't make it big. See, if I was gonna make it, say, to hold something like this, then these right here I would want to start out bigger and then bigger. You know, as long as this can't come through one of these little holes, then you're good. Let me see. I don't have nothing. Yeah, there we go. Trying to find. Used to have a little small basketball somewhere. These boys got so many stuff, but you can kind of see what it's looking like there. So, I wanted to carry something oddly shaped. I mean, it's transferable. You make one of these with some fairly small holes in them. And, I mean, it can't come out, you know, as long as you make them holes fairly good size. Let's see, trying to find. Don't have nothing. Old can I was going to use for something else. That might be too big for this one too. Let's see. If I had kept going, if I had enough rope to keep on going, see what you get there. So if I was able to keep on going with that, I mean, that thing could come all the way up here, and you could put a couple of these in there if you wanted to and carry them. Because it can't come out. About the only thing I see inside. Let's see. Probably should have had some of this stuff laid out, but just like this. Like I said, if I had all this tied together, I wouldn't be fumbling with these little parts I got left. I would just be able to stick it inside of it. So I mean, it doesn't matter really what it is. It takes shape of whatever. So it could be a pretty handy little thing if you say like that. I didn't want to stick something like this in my backpack or something, and I have one of these. I just throw it here, and I can fix these ends to where what I usually do is tie like these two together here and these two together here, and then I'll put a carabiner there, so that way I can take the carabiner off, open it up, put one in it, and then I've got that. So yeah, once you get there, if you had something that was really nice, you wanted to make pretty, a flower pot or something like that, you can sit and adjust all of these little knots and get your little diamond shapes there just the way you want them. That's it. Hopefully you can see better in that one what I was doing. I know yesterday when I was doing the bank line, you couldn't see nothing really. So, but that's it. Just start with extra, because you don't want to, I mean, even if you have to cut some off, you'd rather have more than not enough, because you go through all of that and then don't have enough for what you're actually making, you might be mad. That's it. Y'all have a good one. Hopefully you can see that one better.